Alright, this lab is going to be implementing patch management. The first exercise, we're going to install WSUS. The second second exercise, we're going to configure WSUS. The third one, we're going to configure the clients. And the fourth section, we're going to approve the updates. So this video is going to go over exercise 2.1. And we're going to use Server Manager to install WSUS because this is a test environment. You're going to use the standard internal database that comes with Windows. So when you're planning WSUS, which is the Windows Server Update services, you should consider the number of clients, number of updates, location of the clients, bandwidth links between the clients and the WSUS server, and available disk space. If you have multiple sites, you might consider installing multiple WSUS servers within your organization so you can preserve WAN bandwidth. You can then consider using a WSUS architecture. So in WSUS, for this exercise, we're going to be using, I already have my RWDC open and running. Close on my software folder. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go right into my server 1, which I still have up and running from my previous, from lab 1. And we're going to open up our Explorer folder, go into our C drive, and we're going to create a folder called Updates. So new folder, Updates. Now, in order to deploy the WSUS, network services need to have full control to the couple of file folders here. So we're going to go through and apply full control. So the first thing we want to do is go into Windows file folder, go down into Microsoft, here, click on Framework, and it says to go into version 2.0, but you'll see the only thing in here is config. There's nothing really in here. So if we go into the version 4.03, you'll see we have a whole bunch of other stuff. I also don't see the temporary ASP.NET files. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here, Properties, Security, Edit. Okay, so it's not letting me do any kind of add here. Cancel. Advanced. It's not going to be here either. Click on cancel. Go here. Let's try right click, Properties, Security, and then Edit. It's not letting us do an add here either. Try here, Properties, Security, Edit, Still not letting me do an ad. Cancel. So if I go into my domain controller, go here, my file folder, go in the network. Now the lab manual doesn't say you have to do this, but I'm going to look at it from a different way. Okay, I am logged in as the, go into system, back to server 01, right click, system, alright, let's try this a different way. We're going to go C drive, Windows, Microsoft, okay, it says to go into framework. So I'm going to go into the V4. And I'm going to add a new file folder, even though it doesn't say to. New folder. Temporary ASP.NET. Enter. And now I'm going to right click, Properties, Security, Edit, Add. And we want to type in network service and then OK. Select network service. We want to click on allow full control and then OK. And then yes. While this is selected, you need to do another print screen from here if you're following along in the lab manual for another class besides mine. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Since I'm really not sure if it's supposed to go into framework or framework 64. Just make sure I have the same security settings. Edit, add, and then OK, and then allow full control, and then OK, and then yes. Alright, I'll do OK from here. Now I need to go to Windows. And then there should be a temp file folder in here. And this, so we're going to do right click, Properties, Security, Edit, Add, Network Service, and then OK. And then allow full control, and then OK, and yes, and then OK. And again, if you're doing this for another class other than mine, Properties, Security, this is what you're going to take that second screen print off of. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and close out of this. If Server Manager is not open, we're going to go ahead and open it. So we're going to go ahead and maximize it. And at the top of Server Manager, we're going to click on Manage. Add roles and features. Next, next, next. I'm going to go scroll down to Windows Server Update Services, and then next. Oops, I gotta checkbox it. Add features. There we go. And then next, next, next. And you'll see you have database and the services both checked. Click on Next. And we're going to store it in the Updates folder. And then Next, 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 and then Install. Now while we're doing that, let's take a look at question 1 and question 2 for this lab. So question 1 was, what folder does the Windows directory folder represent? And that's going to be the C:\Windows. And number 2, what option would you choose in order to store the database on a dedicated SQL server? And the answer to that is database. While this is running, I want to show you a couple of things that we've run into during some of these processes. Here on the domain controller, if we right click on our network adapter, open network and sharing, change adapter properties, and then double click, and then properties, IPv4 properties. For some reason, my preferred DNS server keeps on wanting to go back to this number. It should be 192.168.1.50, and then OK, and then close, close, close. Now, if you're having a problem of your live machine seeing your domain controller, so I'm going to open up my live machine network and I'll show you what I mean. If you click on network, you see I have a lot of computers that I can see on my network, but I don't see my domain controller. So what I'm going to do is just move this over. So what you can do is go into your task manager, click on more details, services. I'm going to sort this by name and go down to these two files here. Click on start and start. And now that I've done that, you can see how it shows up. Close this. Now I can just double click and I can see all my stuff. Although we could still connect to it without it. Sometimes it's nice just to be able to see it. So if you can't see it, if you do that one little step, you'll be able to see everything. Alright, so configuration is required. Installation succeeded on server 01. I'm going to go ahead and click on close. Oh, if you have to do a screenshot, you would have had to do that one screenshot before we closed out of it. Alright, that's the end of this exercise and the end of this video.